Welcome back to another episode, everybody. We're going to talk today about a new project that we're working on. Josh, why don't you fill everybody in on how this came to be and where we're at now?
Cool. So it is a project, but it does also involve another human. This human goes by the name of Andre. So Andre is a just guy who doesn't do jiu-jitsu at all. He messaged me on Instagram, and he just asked for private lessons. And we did a private lesson up at the gym that we train at. And going into that, I had an idea to ask him if he would be down for us to train him for a competition, like fresh off the street. Because a while ago when I was actually looking at the constraint set approach stuff, the ecological approach stuff, somebody suggested a video idea. It might have even been Denny, where he was like, hey, you guys should find somebody who's never done jiu-jitsu and see if you can train them for a tournament. And then so when Andre messaged me, he like seemed super stoked during the private lesson. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pop the question.
So Josh got down on one knee.
So I got down on one knee. I was like, Andre, can I be your coach for a tournament? And I didn't tell him the time. I was like, can I coach you for your first tournament? And he was immediately just like stoked. And he said, yeah. And I was like, it's in 5 weeks. I think that's the sequence of events. It's how I remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I was like, oh shit, the camera wasn't recording, so let me do that. So let's do that again.
The life of a YouTuber. Hold on, say that one more time.
Yeah. With the same amount of shock and enthusiasm.
Right.
And yeah, so now we're training Andre for his first ever tournament in, I think it's like four weeks from now. So a local tournament, white belt, fresh off the street. Yeah, how many you've actually trained with him at this point more than I have, so
yeah. So I mean, this all kind of started right as you were going off to Sweden, and I obviously thought it was a great idea. I was like, dude, this would be so cool. Like, it is a great video idea. It's cool to see somebody like just pivot and make a huge life change like that. So like, props to Andre. When you listen to this, know that what you're doing is really admirable.
It's pretty insane too, because a lot of people who like do BJJ anyway just like would be scared as shit to compete. So it's like crazy that he's willing to do this. Yeah, and I believe it's totally possible. And I think it's like it's proof that it's possible. I think because that like. Because he just decided to do it. Yeah. and then second, the fact that he's doing that and showing it's possible, also being completely new to the sport, is like another level. And to just like make that 180 degree thing, it speaks so much to just like
his intestinal fortitude. I
guess so. Yeah. I don't know if it's being tough or if we're all just really dumb. Sorry, but I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you had just got to Sweden, and so we were kind of like on opposite sleep schedules. I happened to be, I think, waking up as you were going to bed, or I can't remember if it was the other way around. Yeah. And I was like, what if we sponsored him? What if we sponsored his strength and conditioning too, to like really give him the full experience? So like he's getting like, very like high quality, high touch point coaching. Yeah. And the strength and conditioning bit to like prepare him for this tournament, something that he's never done in his whole life. And you were immediately like, yeah, great idea. Let's do it. So you connected Andre and I, and I said, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to take care of you. We want to, make sure you get all you have all the resources that you need, and you get the preparation that you need to go into this, because it is something that's very new to you. And he was on board right away, super stoked. He came in, did the assessment. We built him his program, and we've been working with him ever since. And then because you were in Sweden, I stepped in and kind of like coached for the first week. And it's amazing to see what he's been able to do in such a short period of time. It's even little things, just like watching him pick up on certain, like when we play a game, watching him go from having zero idea what to do to just one thing. And it's like, wow, like that's really freaking cool. I can see why people, I mean, obviously, like, I mean, I coach, not jujitsu, but I get why that's so addictive. Because it's been really cool to see him adapt and grow and learn.
Yeah. Andre's really smart, and he also, like, I feel very humbled that he's like even like trusting me and you to like train him and everything. It's like, like, it's just cool. Like, I'm appreciative that he like trusts us to do that, which is awesome. And yeah, just so everyone's clear. It sounded like I was going to say something bad. Just so everyone's clear, we're doing the constraint slit approach. So we're not like drilling or anything. This is like straight up, just like off the street, just straight into the constraint slit approach, the ecological approach. So that's how we're training him for the tournament. So like, what you're talking about is like the games that we're doing, which, by the way, you can see. He's actually in London right now. He just had his first session at Carpe Diem, which is definitely not an ecological approach school.
I'd be curious to hear what his thoughts are.
Yeah, he texted me about it.
Okay.
No shade on any other gym or anything. I actually trained at Carpe Diem several times when I was in London. Shout out Yoshi. Yoshi is the owner of the Carpe Diem London location. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, so Andre doing the ecological approach, constraint slit approach, and Andre's like already a really smart dude. I was gonna say we need to find somebody who's really dumb to also do the constraint slit approach with, because we're just kidding.
Bro, we're already doing that.
I know. Yeah, we're the B and C part of the ABC test.
Right.
Andre is Andre is super smart. He's like asking a bunch of questions. He's just like
he's soaking it in,
totally just like into it. It's like the best possible. I don't think we've coached that many jiu-jitsu people. I mean, we've always like talked to people who are like who are training with us, and you know, do our best to sort of like provide advice, but this is like the closest like coaching I think we've done, at least for me, for sure. So it's cool to see. It's like I think I understand the term coachable now.
Yeah, he's very coachable. I'm curious to know, because we want to keep this one short, going into the tournament, like what is your plan? Like, how do you want to attack this going forward? From now to the tournament, what is the plan?
Yeah, so we came in with no plan. The plan was to be like, okay, we need to like start teaching him jiu-jitsu, and through teaching him jiu-jitsu, we'll start to see like which things sort of surface and what, you know, problem areas we might need to like tackle. And I think what we saw in the last session makes the most sense, which was we started training him as if sort of almost through a sequence of events of how like a typical competition match goes. So we started in the standing scenario. We went over like the guard pull versus takedown dilemma, the opening move situation that you see at the beginning of matches, and then we progressed sort of through some like passing situations, I think. But essentially, I think what we need to do is keep it simple and keep it focused on what the likely scenarios that Andre is going to experience at a white belt local tournament in his weight class.
Yeah,
those are because there's like certain typical things that happen. And if we just go for like this generalist approach of like, let's just teach him jujitsu, I think regular jujitsu is very different than competition jujitsu in some ways.
Yeah.
It's also very different than Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, as evidenced by all the comments that we've been getting on the Sweden video. Yeah, because, bro, if you can't block a punch, I don't know.
It's not worth doing.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But what do you think? That's how I was thinking about it.
No, I totally agree. I think on such short, I think if there were a longer timeline, then maybe a more generalist approach at the beginning makes sense. But I think you're right, because it's such short time. We do kind of have to just identify what are the most likely things that are going to happen. You know, and then just kind of hammer on like the handful of things that he might encounter.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a totally valid approach, and I think that's you know, it's something everybody should think about as they go to their first tournament. It's just like figure out what's most likely and then study that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know if Andre's done a submission. Andre, if you're watching this, today's the first day you trained at Carpe Diem. Let me know if you've done a submission to anybody ever. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't even know if like that's what I'm thinking about. It's like how is the match going to end? Is it going to be by points? Is it going to be by submission?
Right.
Not that I didn't mean that in a bad way either. I don't even know. Just to speak to the fact that like this is the limited amount of training we've done thus far, is that I'm not even sure if in a live role Andre's had the opportunity to execute a submission.
Right.
So that milestone hasn't been reached yet.
Right.
So I think we have our work cut out for us in a good way, and Andre's the one who's doing the brunt of it.
Yeah.
We're just like there training and talking.
Josh and I put him through the Shark Tank every morning. He's doing great though, and I'm really, really excited to see how he does. And win, lose, or draw is gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
I'm super, super impressed with them. If you guys are watching or listening to this, please follow along, and you'll be able to see you know, Andre's training on Josh's channel. We put those on the lives, and you know, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So,
yep. Yeah, we can close it there. Just one closing thought is, there's no pressure on Andre to, for like a specific outcome, right? It's not about winning a tournament. It's about like, self-development kind of through this phase of training. And then the tournament is just like a milestone, like a thing that says like, it's just sort of like, ties the bow on this period of training, and then we move on to, you know, whatever the next thing is. If he wants to continue with jiu-jitsu, which I imagine he probably will, because looks like he's got the bug.
Yeah, it seems like he's in it. Yeah.
So, no pressure for any kind of outcome. We just want to like make sure there's no injuries.
Yeah.
And
he just has a good time and learns.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like the big thing.
Learns from the experience. I think if I have one closing thought, that is to build up.
Have a closing thought after this.
All right. So I'll close, then you close again. If I have one closing thought to piggyback on that, I think you know what? I lost it.
Damn
it.
It's about outcome. It's about the important thing. I feel like it was going to be good. The fuck? What was that?
Something on my computer.
Okay.
Dang, I forgot. It was
probably really good too.
It probably was. Man, it felt like it was good. I felt like it was really okay.
If you remember it afterwards, you should leave a comment on your own podcast.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you found this useful, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe on YouTube. If you found this useful, saying that twice, share this.
But maybe they didn't find it useful.
Maybe you didn't find it useful. If you didn't find it useful, then don't worry about it. Just you don't have to do anything. But if you did find it useful, or you think this is interesting, please share it with somebody that you that you think might like it,
might find it interesting or useful. Yeah. And then because then they find it useful, and
then they'll hear this, and then they'll be like, "Wow, I found this was useful." So then I will also share it.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for the roll.
Thanks for the roll.